Located on the south shore of Honolulu, the world-famous neighbourhood of Waikiki was once a playground for Hawaiian royalty. Waikiki was introduced to the world when its first hotel, the Moana Surf Rider, was built on its shores in 1901. Today, Waikiki is Oahu's main hotel and resort area, and a vibrant gathering place for visitors from around the world. This statue of Makua and Kila, a young surfer and seal, was inspired by a children's book about Hawaiian values of love and respect. Despite the modern hotels, you can still hear whispers of Hawaiians past, with the chanting of hula troops on the beaches and the legacy of Olympic gold swimming medalist Duke Hanamoku, who also became known as the father of modern surfing. Delicious. The first of many sundowners, hopefully. Diamond Head provides a dramatic backdrop for Waikiki Beach. It is one of the best known landmarks in Hawaii. Ever since 1825, when British sailors found calcite crystals sparkling in the sun and mistakenly thought they'd struck it rich, the sacred peak has been called Diamond Head. The trail was built in 1908 to service military observation stations located along the crater rim. Although a fairly steep trail, it's partly paved and only about 1 kilometre to the top, taking about an hour round trip. That takes you to the top edge of the 300,000-year-old crater. The windy summit affords fantastic 360 degrees views of Honolulu and the Pacific Ocean. At the top of Diamond Head. This is the Sheraton Princess Hotel, where we stayed for a few days. It's about a block back from the beach itself. And that's the main shopping street out there, with plenty of bars and restaurants as well. And we just have a little view of the ocean. Not too many surfers out there today. It was here that the surprise Japanese attack on December the 7th, 1941, hurled the US into war in the Pacific. Every year, about 1.6 million tourists visits Pearl Harbor's unique collection of war memorials and museums, all clustered around a quiet bay where oysters were once farmed. The USS Arizona Memorial was built in 1962. It's accessible only by boat, and it straddles the sunken hull of the battleship without touching it. The US Navy exercised its option to leave the servicemen inside the sunken ship. Over 1,000 of them remain entombed in its hull, buried at sea. Just a few hundred yards from the sunken remains of USS Arizona is the USS Missouri. It was the last battleship built at the end of World War II, and it provides a unique historical bookend to the US campaign in the Pacific during World War II. It was nicknamed the Mighty Mo. This decommissioned battleship saw action during many decisive battles in Japan. It is best remembered as the site of the surrender of the Empire of Japan, which ended World War II. In January and February 1991, Missouri provided fire support during Operation Desert Storm. After 17 years of active service, she was decommissioned on the 31st of March 92.
This beautiful little place here, and there's a big parade starting in a few minutes, 10 o'clock, count to 12, which we hope to visit, and which you may see later on.
Okay, thank you very much. We've just boarded the Pride of America, and this is the port area down in Honolulu. We'll be setting sail in about 2 hours, but we have to do our safety drill first. And here we have a passenger relaxing just before we head off. This is our stateroom. We've just arrived in now. Brian has a suitcase. Mine is maybe lost. And then that's our balcony up there. It should be super for looking at our lovely islands. See, that's one of the pilots over there, directing us out. 6:45 and we're just coming into Maui. It is the most visited of all the Hawaiian Islands. It's sparsely populated, supporting less than 1/10 of the state's population. It's home to pineapple, sugarcane, cattle ranches and rainforests. Maui is the second largest island in the Hawaiian chain, and it's estimated that 50% of the world's humpback whales return to Maui's warm waters in the winter to mate. Today we're going to visit Haleakala, the largest dormant volcano in the world, consisting of 30,000 feet of hardened lava rising from the ocean floor, capped by a huge crater. Perched on the rim of the crater at 9,745 feet, this visitor centre is the park's main viewing spot, and certainly a magical sight awaits. The ever-changing interplay of sun, shadow and clouds reflecting on the crater's floor creates a mesmerising dance of light and colour. Sign City is a nickname for the collection of domes just behind the summit. Managed by the University of Hawaii, this area is unfortunately off limits to visitors, as it houses some very interesting equipment, much of it studying the sun and outer space. First thing you'll notice is how quiet everything is. The only sound is the crunching of the volcanic cinders beneath your feet. There's a trail for every type of hiker in this otherworldly place, from short nature walks, ideal for families, to hardy 2-day treks. The trek on the left is known as the Sliding Sands Trail, and the path descends gently into an earthly world of stark lava sites and ever-changing clouds. This lovely beach on the north of the island was great for snorkelling. We spotted plenty of tropical fish and turtles. We're just enjoying our obligatory sundowner. We just arrived into Hilo this morning. It's the second largest city in Hawaii, situated on the east coast of Hawai'i Island, or the Big Island as it's also known. It accounts for 63% of the state, which is about 4,000 square miles. It is believed that this was the first island to be inhabited by Polynesians in 700 AD. Hilo is America's wettest city, with over 120 inches falling annually. It holds the record for the most rain in 24 hours, with 22.3 inches set in 1979. Hilo is the gateway to Hawaii's volcanic national park. Today we're delighted to be able to go on the Circle of Fire helicopter tour. The impressive volcanic terrain of Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park supports diverse climates and ecosystems that range from sea level to the summit of Mauna Loa, the largest volcano on Earth. Its younger sibling is Kilauea, the Earth's youngest and most active volcano. Since 1983, it has been erupting almost non-stop, adding nearly 500 acres of new land to the island.
I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollow in soul. I see fire burning the breeze, and I hope that you.
Since 1983, this side of the island has been remade several times over. The 11-mile paved loop, starting at the visitor centre and skirting the rim of the volcano, has been closed indefinitely due to eruption activity. People only began coming back to their homes after the lava flow of the 1990s. But unfortunately, just over 6 months after we were here, on April the 30th, 2018, the volcano suddenly collapsed. It was the starting point for the volcano's months-long eruption, which went on to produce 320,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of lava that transformed the landscapes and ultimately destroyed 700 homes. On August the 4th, all volcanic activity abruptly declined. And by the time the Volcanoes National Park reopened on September the 22nd, Kilauea's lava covered 13.7 square miles of the island, and there had been a 1,640 feet of vertical collapse at the summit. Scientists calculated that the collapse volume lost from the summit roughly matched that of the amount of lava produced.
Burning the trees, and I see fire hollow in soul. I see fire burning the breeze, and I hope that you remember.
We're looking down here on macadamia nut farms. It's originally from Australia and was brought here in the 1870s as an ornamental plant. The rich volcanic soil, rainfall and sun make the most delicious nut.
Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees. And I see fire.
Okay, at the moment we're flying over some of the tropical rainforests on the Big Island, and we get a view of some of the waterfalls that are inaccessible by road.
I see
After an early dinner, we took advantage of the wonderful opportunity to view the lava flow from the Kaua'i volcano into the sea at Kaua'i Bay. Oh, what a lovely welcome. We were on our way to enjoy a catamaran sail to Kaua'i Bay. In 1778, Captain Cook sailed into the steep, protective bay, discovering Hawaii. He was honoured as the returning Hawaiian god Lono, but less than a month later was killed here. A monument marks where he died. The bay is a state marine life preserve with an abundance of fish, sea turtles and spinner dolphins, which offers excellent diving, snorkeling and kayaking. Kona lies on the western side of the island, perfect for magnificent sunsets. Unlike Hilo, its lush eastern counterpart, Kona gets plenty of sunshine. Because it sits on volcanic rock, the countryside is not as lush as Hilo. Instead of sandy beaches and palm trees, the Kona coast has lava caves and jagged inlets, which are lapped by rough sea. For a century, the upward slopes of the Kona district have been home to the most prolific coffee growing region in the United States. However, as it's the afternoon, we'll go for a cocktail instead. Just walking back, we spot the Hawaiian green turtle. It is the only indigenous reptile found in Hawaii. It is a symbol of good luck in the form of a guardian spirit. Since listed as a threatened species in 1978, the green sea turtle population has made a comeback. Before protection, their decline in numbers came primarily from overfishing. They're having a bit of a tough time here today. Kona is the centre of the island's Gold Coast. Within a 2-block span along oceanfront Alali Drive are sites that played a role in some of the most important moments in Hawaiian history, from the unification of the islands to the advent of Christianity. This pilot ship is directing us into Kaua'i, which is the oldest and most northerly of the Hawaiian Islands. Kauai's craggy mountains, gorgeous valleys and many breezy beaches have managed to avoid excessive development. However, no building in Kaua'i is allowed to rise above the level of the coconut trees. Much of Kaua'i looks like it did when the first Polynesians paddled up to shore, around 500 AD. Over 60 movies were filmed in this Hollywood paradise. It's such a pity we didn't have a nicer day. The village of Hanalei is a relaxed place, still recognisable as a plantation settlement, but kept busy these days, catering for the needs of year-round surfers and Napoli adventurers. And this is the restaurant here that features in The Descendants. And perhaps I did sit in the same seat as George Clooney.
This is Hakitaki Yuki Naki. It's a life-size figure. As you can see, he ate very well.
One of the most spectacular Kaua'i beaches is Hanalei Bay, with its iconic view of Bali High. This sweeping 2-mile crescent-shaped bay has captured the imagination of both locals and tourists alike as the perfect swimming spot, a favourite surfing location, and an amazing ocean playground. It has also been a popular Hollywood movie location and featured the South Pacific and The Descendants.
Falls have featured in so many movies.
The Napoli, which translates into the cliffs, was formed entirely of lava flows. Later, water flow on the island had a major effect on its shape. Mount Waialae is the wettest place on Earth, receiving 448 inches of rain per year. This coast is one of the least disturbed wildlife parks in all of Hawaii. It is an environment of immense power, where natural forces are continually evolving the shape of the land.
Some movies that were filmed here that you may be familiar with are 6 Days and 7 Nights with Harrison Ford, done in 1998. The opening scenes of Jurassic Park 1 and 2. Jessica Lange was filmed bathing in the falls of Honolulu for the 1973 remake of King Kong. The Descendants, which starred George Clooney, Fantasy Island, Lost, and even the most recent Pirates of the Caribbean. The list goes on and on as Hollywood has fallen in love with this beautiful island in the middle of the Pacific.
Roadless, pristine and hauntingly beautiful, this 15-mile stretch of stark cliffs, white sandy beaches, turquoise coves and gushing waterfalls links the island's northern and western shores. It's arguably Kaua'i's most magnificent natural site. National Geographic has voted it one of the top 50 most beautiful places on Earth.